La Trappe is het bier van werken en bidden. Het bier van de stilte.
Welcome to Foodie Friday, as Viking.TV is going to call it, or has called it. My name is Ralph De Klijn. I'm from the Netherlands, a proud Brabander, which is the southern part of the Netherlands. And I actually asked a friend to come along. It's Thomas. He also lives in Basel in Switzerland. But funny enough, he is from Belgium. But Thomas and I actually could cycle to each other because we are so close from where we came from that you literally can jump on your bike, cross the border, even though we are from different countries. We speak the same dialect and we have kind of the same likings to food and beer and wine and more, I think.
Definitely, Ralph.
So but Thomas, tell a bit about yourself.
Very short, I'm Thomas. As Ralph said, I'm from Belgium, from the upper part of Belgium. I was born and raised in Ghent. And that's what we try to translate a little bit in our liquid culinary experience today. We have a couple of beers from the area of Ghent, two favorites. And then we cross the border to Holland.
Yes, that is true. So to start off, because ultimately the Belgians make the best beer, but the closer you get to Belgium, the better the beer gets also in the Netherlands, which is a fact. And the La Trappe brewery is actually a monastery, and there's 12 Trappist beers in the world. There's actually one American as well. There's no British. And the rest is all Belgium, and there's two from the Netherlands. And one of them is literally in the back garden of my parents, a little town called Oosterwijk, and there's a monastery just on the border in Berkel en Schot, and it's the monks that started brewing beer. I don't know exactly when, but it's a long time ago. It exists for a long time, and they really have come along, and they make a lot of different beers, from seasonal beers, which is this one, the bock beer. We like bock beer. It's nice, dark. It's a wintry beer. And then you have the blonde beer. You have a white Trappist. You have a double, a triple, and here is the bad boy. This is the quadruple. So that's a little bit, and we're gonna taste. And Trappist beers normally come in glasses this shape because every Belgian beer generally comes with its own glass, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
So why don't you tell me a bit about the Belgian beers?
Well, unfortunately, I cannot say anything about the Trappist, the Belgian Trappist beers, because they are a little better, and that's always the first ones we drink, Ralph and I. So we did that already. But what we do have is a small selection. Now, living here in Basel, we don't find all the beers we would like to find, but there's probably one of my favorite beers, because it's close to my roots, is this one. It's called Delirium Tremens. It comes with the pink elephant, showing you, giving you a hint from the effect when you drink it. But it's from Melle, a little town just outside of Ghent. It's a fairly strong beer. This is the one that most people would know, I think, the Blue Delirium. And the Argentum is the IPA. Wonderful this season. And then I brought a small selection of a very big beer, the Gouden Carolus, which actually won a beer award in 2012 for the best dark beer, I think, in the world. And a surprise to me also, the Bon Secours, Belgian beer that I have not tried yet, and I want to keep it for a special occasion with Ralph.
Very nice. Well, which one should we start with? Should we start with the La Trappe?
Maybe we can do it. We can go down the line.
Well, let's go down the line. So we're going to start with the white Trappist, and I'll promise you we're not going to drink all of them because we wouldn't be able to talk after a while anymore. So we're going to have a few tastes because ultimately we're also going to talk about food. And one of the foods where we have been working on, you will see, And what we have prepared is in the Netherlands and in Belgium, when we go to a bruin café, which is a cafe, where you can enjoy these wonderful beers, they come by and they serve you bitterballen. And bitterballen are very nice. They are a little ragout inside. They have a crusty corner. You deep fry them. And actually that's what we've made. The nice thing is we've made 3 different kinds. So the original one, which is made from beef, that's a beef croquette or a beef bitterball. The other one is a chicken one. And then we're going to, I think it's a world first. And
We're gonna
we both
experiment.
do not understand why, because the dish that is only coming from our area is stoofvlees, which is a little bit like
It's a beer stew.
it's a beer stew. Yeah, we put lots of these beers inside when we make it. And we thought, why don't we make that, or not me, Thomas came up with the idea. He said, why don't we try and make a bitterball and a croquette with stoofvlees? So the beer stew. So we're gonna do that as well. So there's 3 different kinds we're gonna make. The whole cooking presentation is about the beef one, because it's the easiest and the most common one to make, and you can find all the ingredients anywhere you go. So we keep it to that, but you know, you can make a chicken stock and use the chicken if you want to make a chicken bitterball at home. And for the stoofvlees, that recipe, I'm afraid, is top secret. I mean, Thomas doesn't even tell me when he makes it. He brings it over, because no recipe can be shared on that part. And then I forget one thing. Thomas, why don't I leave the honor to you to start, and then I have one more thing to share.
You've just been very curious.
Well, it's actually a very boring thing, but at the same time it's special, and I think I should mention it, because our chairman, Torstein Hagen, he loves a bitterball, and he loves Heineken. So that's why I got a little bottle of Heineken, regular beer, regular Pilsner, famous from all over the world. And there's a little story about the green glass. Do you know that story?
Nope.
I don't either. But I will come back to it in a little while and tell you all about it. But there is something special about it, and of course, it's a huge beer. There's one story they told me about Heineken, how it became famous in the US, and that was they actually asked movie stars and famous people to, when they went out to restaurants and to bars, they actually asked them, please ask for a Heineken.
True, yes, I heard that story.
And when they asked for a Heineken, of course, if they didn't have it, they wanted to keep famous people coming in. So that what happened, they made sure they had it the next time. And that's how the brand grew. Of course, there's many more things to it, but that was one of the first starts, I believe, in the United States when Heineken became a famous beer. And now, of course, it's a world famous beer. It's not a beer that we drink, because it's like we said, the great beers are coming. You need to go more down south. But still, it's a very nice beer. And Thor, this is also in your health, so we will definitely enjoy it. But we needed to mention it, and I hope you can enjoy one time the bitterballs as well. And I hope anybody of you at home will also be able to make them. Oh, this is the white Trappist.
That's the white one, and here is the quadruple.
So here you can see the color. It's a bit it's a bit like a wheat beer, little cloudy. Smells beautiful.
It is.
But,
It is a very, very good beer. There we go.
That is beautiful. Which you already mentioned. That's very nice. Well,
Santé.
santé, of in Belgium santé, in the Netherlands proost, or gezondheid. Not gezondheid as they say in Germany, gezondheid.
Skål.
Skål.
That's wonderful.
That is beautiful. For the bitterballs we need around 600 grams of beef. I used the beef from the chicken stock, pulled it nicely apart, or actually it fell apart. It's been on for about 6 hours. So when you make your beef stock or chicken stock or whatever, make sure you do a minimum of 3 to 6 hours. And then the other part is you need to leave it overnight.
so it cools down, and it should be completely cooled down the next morning when you restart again. This is what I'm doing now. Here you can see I finally chopped carrots, beautiful red onion, parsley, and then we have all seasoned pepper, we have allspice, we have some Maggi, we have Worcester sauce, salt, cream, nutmeg, and cloves, sorry. And then also when you make a soup, make sure you have some beautiful vine leaves and star aniseed. These are the secret recipes of a very nice and good bitterball. Here you can see the stock. We need some flour, and all the way at the end, which we come back later for, is the breadcrumbs. And make sure that you have both the panko breadcrumbs, which are more rough and larger, and the very small ones, and you mix those two together until you get a beautiful mix of the small and the larger ones, and you will see later on that that will create the very perfect croquette, or at least I hope. When you have the flour, make sure you sieve it, because that's very important, so it's nice. Here we are, very small, as you can see. So here we are, nice pan on the fire, hot. 60 grams of butter goes in it. Let that melt, and then after that we're gonna add the flour to it. Okay, and then we add, once the butter is completely melted, we're going to add the flour. Like I said, it's 60 grams or a little bit more and 60 grams of butter, so it's equal amounts. And that's how we make the roux. A little bit of music. And the most important thing is, when you do this, make sure that the flour is going to be completely dissolved, and here, because otherwise you will not have a nice thick sauce, and it really need to be, well, let's say baked or a little bit fried really strongly. And this is also why I made the beef broth in. So use the same pan. Of course you rinse it before, but some of the flavor should go nicely into the roux, which is lovely. If you don't do it long enough, the taste of your bitterballs will not be nice and not be right. So this is why we keep stirring and keep moving it around, so it is going to be perfect later on. See, it's not totally done yet. Now that this is done, we're going to add the beef stock. Better way to do it, of course. My wife is laughing on the background because she's normally the one that makes her baking videos, and I'm not really used to filming myself, so I also gain a lot of respect for her now, knowing what she's going through every day. As you can see, this is going pretty well. the beef stock. Make sure that all the roux is away from the sides. And this we do for about 4 minutes. Need a little boil here, so it can, as you can see, it's shaping up pretty well. Also, just for your information, I've never made these myself, so this is the first time. So all I do hope is that it's going to work out. But by the looks of it, it's starting to look the way it should look. I don't know about the taste, but the look is there. The recipe I use you also can find on the kitchen table, which is a regular recipe for bitterballs. What I'm making here is a bitterball recipe that is actually very old, and it's from a company that is known to make the absolute best culinary level bitterballs or croquettes, or however you want to do it. And as you can see, it's nicely stiffening up. And then the beef goes in. As you can see, all very small little pieces, stringy bits of the beef, like pulled beef. And I'm gonna have that through the sauce, mixing in. Here we go. And here we are. When I made this chicken stock, I added a few extra bits and bobs, and then once just to flavor it. And after, when it came out and I pulled the beef, what I did is I seasoned the beef a little bit with allspice, a little bit of nutmeg, a very little tiny hint of cinnamon, which you think, wow, why? Because cinnamon is rather strong sometimes, but I follow the full recipe, and they say this is the secret to the success. So as this is now beautiful cooking on the fire, and as you can see, it is a nice concoction, which actually looks exactly the way when you normally eat one, which you will hopefully see later, because it's a long process. You make the stock one day, then you pull it, you take the beef out of it, you pull the beef, and you cool both the beef and the stock, because once you use it, you can't use warm stock when you make this. It needs to be cold stock, remember that. And then the day after, you start making this, and then actually the best way of doing it is on day 2 you make the ragout, then you let it cool down in the fridge, and then the day after that, so day number 3, that's when you roll it. And you must think now, well, I don't have 3 days, but because in this time you might have 3 days, and it is lovely to serve with the holidays coming up. It is a great way of serving little nibbles, and it's very easy to make. Add a little Worcester sauce to add flavor. A little bit of nutmeg. That's a bit of allspice. And then of course salt and pepper. Use all-season pepper, and if you don't know what all-season pepper is, it's actually very easy because you have pepper balls with different colors. You see, it's about 4 different colors. That's why they call it all-season, or 5-season peppers, or 6-season peppers, or whatever season it is. But you use the colored peppercorns because that's what it gives you. As you can see here, we mix this all in. Parsley, not unimportant. A few carrots, finely chopped. And some onion. Not too much. I chopped too much, but it doesn't need to be much. Mix that in. And as you can see, this is a beautiful carrots. Look a little bit. Couple more. I like carrots. It always gives a nice color to any food. And parsley, of course. You see now the sauce is nice and thick. The beef is stringy. Everything is set through. And here you have the result. Well, and while you think, oh, I can't wait to eat it. Well, you can't wait to eat. You have to wait to eat it because it needs to cool down in the fridge before you actually even can start doing something else. Which is not something I like. Because when I make something, I like to eat it. The good part is, as we always should do, I should taste it. See if the flavors are there and if they're right. Well, very nice. Maybe I've been a little heavy on the pepper. But other than that, the flavors are beautiful.
It becomes, you know, a thicker sauce because you made the roux or to thicken the sauce, and then actually after that's done, which I've done early this morning, you put it in the fridge, and then before I took it out, I put it 1 more hour in the freezer, so it's really stiff and cold. And now we're gonna make and roll the bitterballs. So as you can see, this is just the stock.
So it was a 2-day exercise to get to this.
Officially, they say you do 3 days if you want to make the beautiful one. But this is still going to be beautiful.
It's gonna be.
It's going to be amazing.
Knowing you, that's gonna be amazing.
So we're going to try this, and then the first world premiere of the Stoofvlees bitterball. Well, maybe you should talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, sure. So, one of our traditional dishes that we have in Ghent, where I came from, it's called stoofvlees, in Holland stoverij in my dialect. So it's basically a beef stew with beer. It's simmered for about 4 to 5 hours to have the meat come apart. You start with very good quality pieces of meat. You fry them with your onions, and then you basically pour your beer of choice with the meat, loosen up the juices, and let it simmer with bread and mustard for about 4 to 5 hours. I flavor it, everyone has his own recipe, but I flavor it with jam. I love to make homemade jams. So this one is flavored with local basil figs from the garden. Normally you can add a little bit of anise depending on what beer you use, because we used actually this time, it's Rodenbach. It's a beer from Belgium. It is quite fruity, so don't overdo it on your jam at that moment. So let's see what it gives. I'm curious. It smells good, so we'll see. And I'll definitely provide you with the recipe then, Rob.
Well, here we are. You can't see me, but you can see my hands. You can see the ingredients. So what we do when we have it, we have the prepared beautiful stew. We have breadcrumbs, fine breadcrumbs, and then we have fine breadcrumbs mixed with panko breadcrumbs, which are a little bit more rough, and that will give a beautiful and nice crust. And then of course you just get 2 eggs, you whisk them depending on how many you make. But
is this only the yolk or is it the full egg?
You whisk the full egg.
Okay.
Not only the yolk, just the full egg. You whisk it nicely together, and then you use that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to do, and the tip is that you make a little ball, and I'm just gonna do it right now. So you can see here a little bit more. Here you have it. You make a little ball out of it. And then once the ball is made, you just roll it through the breadcrumbs, which is done right now. Not bad for a Dutchman, as the Belgians would say. You roll it.
The Bitterballen master, really.
You roll it through the breadcrumbs here, and then you go with the panko breadcrumbs over it.
That looks amazing.
And the tip is to do it twice or 3 times in order to make sure that you have the perfect crust around your bitterball. So actually this is what it is. We put them one more time through it. There we go. And here we go again. And this is time number 3 where they went through. Beautiful. This really, Thomas, I think this is gonna work.
That's gonna be amazing. I
This
can't
is gonna
wait
be
to taste that one, Rolf.
really nice. And once it's finished, we put them right here on top. And here we have it. So bitterball number 1 is ready.
These stick very well, Rolf. So last time, 3 times you said, huh?
3 times is the perfect crust.
Okay. So here we are, the world's first stove-flakes bitterball. What do you think, Rolf? As the master, does it look okay?
That looks awesome. And here is the end result. Over here on your left, these are the stove-flakes ones. In the middle 3, right there, they are the chicken ones, and the 6 on the right are the beef ones. They're now going in the freezer, and once that is done, well, we'll see you back for when we prepare them and fry them and then enjoy them with the whole family to taste them. So as you can see, the full preparation is done, it's ready. We have them on 170 degrees Celsius in the deep fat fryer for if you have them unfrozen, which is the best. Is for about 4 minutes. Make sure that when you have prepared them and rolled them, they go into the fridge or freezer for, I would say, at least an hour, and then you deep fat fry them, or you have an air fryer, you can use it in there, but preferably you deep fat fry, and then they come out like this. Don't they look beautiful?
Amazing.
We are going to taste them very soon, and there's 2 ways to eat them. Just dip them in Dijon mustard in the middle, or you put them on a little bread roll, and I can suggest you either use a warm, nice baguette, and it's beautiful on there if you eat it. So these are the stove-flakes, the beer stew, as with the one that Thomas made, and then the ones that are in the deep fat fryer now, they are the chicken and the beef. So they will come out in about a minute. So we will be back soon and show you the tasting. We have another beer. We didn't drink them all. This big one is still waiting for us, which we will do in another day. This is my wife, Sin.
Yeah. Hi. Cheers.
So we have them ready. We deep fry them for about 4 minutes. You normally eat them with mustard, but you also can have them with a little bread roll. I would always prefer to say have a little baguette or a little kaiserbrötchen in the oven. Very nice, warm it up, and it needs to go with mustard. So we have the chicken ones, we have the stoofvlees ones, the beer stew.
The premiere.
The premiere, exactly, the world premiere. And then we have the classic beef bitterballs. So
Can't wait.
I would say
we've
try.
got-
And we
okay.
also have Baba,
We've got Baba here as well.
who
so
is
my dad.
who's with
so
us.
We're gonna
So please
trying.
chop in.
So this one was the stoofvlees. Yeah,
That's the stoofvlees, that's the chicken, and that is the beef.
I think I'm going to go for the chicken actually.
So have a chicken,
I'm gonna
please
take
go
the chicken.
ahead.
Should I just dip that in the
Watch
mustard
out.
like this?
The one thing you need to do is let them cool down for about 2 to 3 minutes before you eat them, because otherwise you will burn your mouth, your lips, and everything, and it's a very unpleasant experience.
Okay, so
So-
I'm going to go in.
Yes,
Should we go in?
dip it
Dip
and
it.
eat it. So that this is the chicken, the verdict. I hope we win.
We have a winner.
Is it nice?
It's a yes from me.
It's a yes from Sid.
Okay, little high
Okay.
five over there. Okay, next one.
Next one.
Stop it, you need to go to the next one.
Do I have to try them now?
Yeah, give it to Thomas. Thomas has the
There
next
you go.
one. Okay.
Oh, very COVID friendly, isn't it?
I'm just gonna put it here.
Yeah. No, you.
Okay.
And I'll have a bite when the camera is off.
No, really? Oh, no, I think we can do this. Okay, so Baba or
No.
Thomas? Oh, okay, alright. So, didn't realise it was going to be so strict. Right, so dipping it in again. It's quite hot, this mustard. Normally a Dijon mustard, is that correct? That
You can have 3 bitterballs, so those 3 are yours.
Okay.
Is that the stove?
Oh my god.
Is that still place?
Oh my god, that's my fave.
Yeah?
You want to try
Can I
that
do a
one
little
now?
dance here?
I'm just when I finish.
Okay.
Well, I think what
Just
we're
put
doing
them
is
there
putting out
because
to
you
the side,
exactly.
and then we're going to go round again. So you're after Thomas, so I'm going to try these, and then so it's Thomas and then you, and then we go back to them.
No,
You go back
first
to
is
them.
gonna be your
Oh,
dad.
okay.
And that's
then
the
it's
beef,
done.
that's
so this
the
is the
beef.
beef.
They're all gonna be amazing. You taste the love.
Oh my god. You said it. Oh my god. I thought that last one was my favourite, but now I'm thinking maybe this one. That's good. Who's next?
that.
That's amazing. Well done, guys. So, Baba, you're next to
So-
try.
We are tasting, we continue here. Thank you for watching. I hope you're gonna make them, you're gonna enjoy them, and up to that, make sure you have a Belgian or a Southern Dutch beer
Yes.
to
Santé.
enjoy with it.
Yeah.
And we say, as in Scandinavia and in Norway, and as we say on the ship, skål! Thank you for watching.
Go.
Okay, thank you.